Hey, I guess you want to follow along on one of my workouts. I would love that. But I think there are some basic rules we need to establish and things we should go over first. So let's do that. Your safety is my #1 priority when making these workouts. So please, go see your physician if you have any underlying heart conditions before performing one of these workouts. To monitor your heart rate throughout the workout, if you have an Apple Watch or a wearable, that's preferable.
While we're on the note of safety, remember, I can't physically fix your form if I'm not with you in person. So I need you to replicate these movement patterns to the best of your ability with perfect form. You're going to also hear audible cues. So if you have headphones in loud environments, it's going to help you understand what you should and shouldn't be doing.
To get the most out of these workouts, simply set your phone or tablet up, follow along with the instructions and try to keep pace, and just work hard. Some workouts might use equipment where it's unsafe to watch the video while trying to perform the exercise at the same time. So for these, I advise watch the video, then rewind, set your phone up off to the side, and then perform the exercise while only listening to the audible cues. Use your own best judgment for this. Oof, that made things awkward.
And that's essentially it. Follow these workouts, work as hard as you possibly can, and on a week-to-week basis, make sure you're thinking of increasing one variable like weight or reps or tempo or something. The last thing I want to say is just a thank you. The fact that you're here with me today tells me that you're willing to dedicate energy and time to try to better yourself, and the fact that you're using me as a resource to do so really does mean a lot. So thank you with all my heart, and enjoy your workout. Today, we're going to be doing a home gym isometric day. The goal is going to be holding positions for a longer duration of time, which is going to help us strengthen tissue around different joints without any movement, which is not going to have as much wear and tear on our body. And we're going to be able to work on strength in those end range positions. Today, for equipment, we're going to be needing a lacrosse ball, foam roller, a set of mini bands, 2 yoga blocks, a set of rings or a TRX, as well as a resistance band. Let's get started. Before we get started with the workout, we want to do a little bit of soft tissue work or myofascial release to try to provide some blood flow and make sure that we can activate that tissue better during our workout. So first we want to start with a lacrosse ball. This is a larger myofascial release ball, and I'm going to put it under the corner of my glute. On that side that I'm shifting all of my weight onto, I have some weight on my hand. I'm going to set a timer for 45 seconds. And from here, I'm just going to think of abducting my leg down to the ground and then adducting and bringing it back into my waist. You can keep your opposite leg bent at 90 degrees. You can lock it out. The most important concept here is that you're keeping almost all of your weight on this lacrosse ball. Now, if this is super painful and you can't withstand all of your weight here, you can kind of have your weight a little bit more spread out back behind you. If you need more tension, you can stay more vertical on the ball. But the goal is here for you to take deep breaths and try to relax on this ball. You can make small circles with your legs. Whatever you can to work on that tissue, again, to try to promote some blood flow, help improve fluid dynamics, and just help make sure that we can fire that tissue better during our workout. Again, small circles, just looking for spots that are painful. That was 45 seconds. Now, let's switch sides. We want to make sure we take a few minutes before our workout just to do the necessary prep work to make sure that we lower our risk of injury during these workouts and that we're just firing the correct tissue. For your glutes, for instance, a lot of people have glute amnesia because we sit all day and we're not activating our glutes in the correct way. A lot of people forget how to have that mind-muscle connection and actually use this tissue in a lot of movement patterns that they're performing in the gym. Again, just trying to take deep breaths. Just trying to relax on this ball. This can be super painful if you're someone who's a little bit skinnier or you have less tissue. It might feel like you're on the bone. You might need to relieve some of your weight here. Maybe put your hands on yoga blocks if you don't quite have the mobility to be in this position. Okay, 45 seconds on each side. Next, we're going to end up working on our shoulders, tissue that gets extremely tight on most people from the amount of sitting that we do. So I'm going to lay face down. I'm going to take one arm and place it behind my back. And I'm going to put all of my weight onto this side of my body, onto the ball. From here, opposite hand comes out in front. I rest my head down. And then from here, I'm just going to pull my elbow up and push my elbow all the way down to the ground. I call this chicken winging. I don't think that'd be a very good anatomical reference or phrase. And here I'm just, again, taking deep breaths, looking for tissue that's really painful. Maybe I make small circles. Again, we sit a lot during the day. The tissue of our shoulder and pec gets really tight, pulling us forward into really bad posture. So here, I'm just trying to, again, loosen up some of that tissue and provide some blood flow before we try to activate it in our workout. Okay, that's 45 there. Let me flip sides. Restart our timer. Oh, today we got a great workout. We're going to focus on things like isometric holds. So what we're going to do is be holding a position for an extended period of time, and we're going to work on strengthening the tissue around the joint. There's not going to be as much wear and tear because we're not going through these long ranges of motion, making the joint really go through these big ranges, where if we're not operating correctly, there might be a little asymmetry in the musculature that's working and not. So today we're going to focus on holding these positions with good form, activating that tissue, and then later in the week when we do more workouts, we might be able to correctly fire the tissue we want and maybe get into these positions a little bit better because now we're familiar with the end range that we got into. Again, taking deep breaths, looking for painful spots, and good. Okay, we want this warm-up to be efficient, so I'm not spending too much time. If you have pain in the area and you need to work in that spot a little bit more, we can. Next, we're going to grab our foam roller, and we're going to place this on our upper back. From here, I'm going to put this in my thoracic area, so more toward my pecs. I'm going to take a seat on the ground, and the first thing I'm going to do is go into a posterior pelvic tilt, thinking of pushing my belly against the ground. From here, I put my hands on my head. I take a deep breath of air out. And I'm trying to conform my upper back over the foam roller without going into lumbar extension. So again, posterior pelvic tilt, important. We're going to use that reference for a lot of core work we do. Deep breath out. Again, if you sit a lot for work, we're going to spend a few more seconds, do one more rep. If you sit a lot for work and you have that rounded kyphotic posture all day, this is really important to try to work into your routine. To slowly work on getting better posture and loosening up some of the tissue of our upper back. Okay, next, we're going to work on thoracic rotation per side, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to lay on our side with our foam roller, take our leg, place it at about a 90-degree angle, and then from here, we're going to try to rotate our top arm, making a T, trying to pin our shoulder all the way against the ground. We reset, deep breath in, rotate. I want to make sure my knee stays down in the foam roller and I don't pick it up because then I'm not really going through strict rotation of my upper back. I could be rotating through my hips. One more time. If you're someone that plays a rotational sport, golf, tennis, a softball league after work, whatever it may be, this will help your performance and lower your risk of injury in those sports to make sure that you're not rotating through the wrong tissue. Let's switch side. Same thing, opposite, arm up, about 90 degrees, deep breath out. Make sure your knee stays down on that foam roller. You might notice some asymmetries. Maybe one side of your body, you have the ability to rotate a little better. We'll take note of that. Maybe we need to spend more time on one side than the other. Again, just really breathe. And this is a good way to go from sitting at your desk all day to now getting a little bit of movement before we start working out in a safe and efficient manner. Last one. And again, we're spending about 45 seconds for each of these, but if you feel tight and you need to spend more time on something, please do. I just want this to be efficient. All right, we finished up with our myofascial release. Now let's move on to some activation and movement prep. Next, we're moving on to movement prep. We're going to need two different bands here, a heavy as well as a light mini band. The first thing we want to start with is taking our heavy mini band, and we're going to step inside of it, having it around our ankles, and we're going to do some lateral band walks. We're going to set a timer for 45 seconds. We're going to take huge steps to the side, making sure that our feet strike the ground straight, and we're going to try to get the abductors of our glutes to fire and get us warmed up for some of the lower body movements that we're going to incorporate into today. Every step that we take, we want to make sure that we are not collapsing in with our knee and that our knee tracks over our toes.
as well as that we're not rotating our toe out in external rotation, trying to make it easier. We want to make sure we maintain straight feet here. My belly is tight. I'm not over exaggerating and going into extension. I'm making sure I have a neutral spine. And I'm just taking huge steps to the side. Again, focusing on good breathing mechanics. Big steps. If you can't take a big step, maybe we go to a lighter band. I like to use Perform Better. That was 45 seconds. Perform Better bands, I find that they, the quality of manufacturing, they last longer and they have less elasticity, or at least they're more challenging for what you pay for. Second, we're gonna take a light mini band. We're gonna take this guy and put it around our wrists. From here, I'm gonna pull the band apart in external rotation. I'm gonna do 12 repetitions while holding it apart, squatting down, standing, pressing my arms overhead into a thruster. Again, I squat, I stand, I press. As I do the press portion, I wanna make sure that I'm not collapsing into internal rotation, and then I'm keeping my arms in external rotation from my shoulder. These are generally the little muscles that are very weak and underdeveloped on most people. And then people end up hurting themselves from the exercise selection they choose to do in the gym and the lack of strength in these external rotators. Try to press your arms above your head, squeezing your butt and belly at the top. 3 more, squat, stand, press. Now, if your squat doesn't look like this and you don't have such a vertical torso angle, we might need to work on a little more ankle mobility to get your knees to track forward to stay more upright. Add 1 for good luck. Whew. And that's it. Quick movement prep. Now we can get started with our workout. All right, circuit number 1, we're gonna perform this circuit 3 times. The only equipment we're gonna need is gonna be a medium mini band, as well as 2 yoga blocks, okay? The first thing we're gonna start with in this circuit is gonna be a wall sit. We're gonna go up to a wall. We're gonna step inside of the mini band to add a little bit more difficulty for our hips. Once we get the mini band right below our knees, again, watch out for leg hair. We're gonna get down to 90 degrees. We're then gonna start a timer for 45 seconds. I got a 90-degree knee angle bend here. I got my shoulder blades up against the wall, my head against the wall, great for neck posture. You can push your chin back against the wall, shoulder blades back, and I'm just holding this position. Arms out in front of yourself if you want, a little bit of stimulus to your shoulders holding this. Whatever you do, do not put your hands on your legs. If you go too low and you're just sitting your butt onto your calves, you're not doing much work. If you're sitting too upright, you're doing less work. So do the best that you can. The deep breath, staying calm, straight feet. If you want to make this more challenging, you can take a mini band, put it around your hand, pull out on that mini band like we did on the thrusters for the warm-up. You can do overhead presses with that mini band at the same time. And 45. Good, okay. Burning up the quads, get the strength in the knee joint while we hold that position. Second thing we're gonna do, we're gonna come on down to our mat. We're gonna get into a plank position, okay? A few different ways we can do this, but we're gonna do a 45-second plank. I start my timer, I press myself up from the floor. Number 1 thing, we need to think of a posterior pelvic tilt, okay? We do not wanna arch our back. This is how I work my lower back and make it tighter than it is for most people. I tilt my pelvis, I squeeze my butt, I hold this position. I press through my forearms, I separate my shoulder blades, I stay put right here. If you need to make this easier, you drop your knees to the ground, hold this position. You can do it from a bench to keep yourself higher up in the air, have less load on yourself. Whatever you need to do to make this about an 8 to a 9 out of 10 difficulty while you're keeping good form by the end of the 45 seconds. Deep breaths in and out through your nose is preferable. And before you know it, 45 seconds is up. Okay. Third, final exercise for the circuit. We're gonna immediately lay face up and take our yoga blocks. We're gonna go into a dead bug position. I'm gonna have the yoga blocks on my knees. I'm gonna take my elbows and hold my elbows against the yoga blocks, and I'm gonna push into these yoga blocks as hard as I can. I'm imagining someone's trying to rip them away from me. Now, in doing this, again, I'm doing that posterior pelvic tilt. I'm making sure that I do not arch my lower back. I think of pressing my lower back against the ground as hard as I can, and I just hold this position. Again, deep breaths for 45 seconds. If you want to make this easier, stack the yoga blocks longer. If you want to make this harder, have no yoga blocks, make yourself crunch into yourself even more. Deep breaths, just holding this position. Again, most important thing is keeping that posterior pelvic tilt. Deep breaths, 2 core exercises back to back, it's burning. Deep breaths, and that's 45. All right, guys, that's the end of circuit 1. We're gonna take a small rest, and then we're gonna move on.
Haven't we made it, my love? Oh, honey, look how we made it this far. Hasn't the pace been a long bit, honey? Take a look at where we are. Haven't we made it, my love? Oh, honey, look how we made it this far. Hasn't the pace been a long bit, honey?
New circuit, new exercises. 3 rounds of this as well. We're going to be needing a set of rings or a TRX that we safely attach to a door at home or a carabiner in the wall set up for us. We're also going to need a resistance band. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to use our rings. We are going to set ourselves up for an isometric hold. I'm going to set a timer for 30 seconds long. I'm going to get into a split squat position, which means my front leg is bent at 90 degrees, my back knee is bent at 90 degrees, and I hold my knee off of the ground just slightly in this position. We're going to hold that for 30 seconds. We're going to use a set of rings if we need it for assistance. We can have hands out in front of us holding ourselves up, or we can hold ourselves with our arms bent. This will provide a little bit more assistance. This will be here if we need it, and we can always bring our arms close by. So 30 seconds here. Some things we want to think of. The knee that is in front with the foot flat on the ground. We want to make sure that that knee is tracking directly in the direction over our toes and it is not collapsing in. That's number 1. We need to activate our glute and keep that knee over our toes. Okay, switch sides. Again, bend our knees, have an upright torso, slight hinge forward, okay? I'm not 100% vertically upright where I displace the weight to my back leg too much. I want to have a slight hinge forward, and I'm doing all of the work or most of it on that front leg. I'm going to be working my quad a ton. Again, if you start to get to failure, try not to stop. Just support a little bit more of your body weight with the rings. And you do not need to use these rings. If you're strong enough to not, let go, hold yourself in this position, 30 seconds long, good posture, shoulder blades back, and good there. Second, we're going to be getting into a push-up position, okay? A few ways to scale this as well, guys. We're going to be holding this position for 1 minute long, okay? We can lock out our legs, press ourselves away from the ground, make sure we keep that posterior tilt, and we just hold this position. If this is too challenging for us, also make sure your shoulders are stacked over your hands and your weight's not back. If this is too challenging for us, we can come down to our knees. We can hold this position. We can do it from a bench, a position where we're higher up off the floor and we're not so horizontal to the ground. We can do it from our knees and then lock one leg out and then just tap the other knee, switching back and forth. Most important things, guys, we need to make sure that we have that hollow belly and that we're not arching our lower back and we're protracting our shoulder blades, pushing ourselves away from the ground. Almost there. So many variations to do this. Again, isometrically, we're strengthening our core, as well as we're working on a little bit of our anterior strength of shoulders and chest, things like that. Almost done. Deep breaths. Spread those fingers apart. If it's hard on your wrist to be in this position, we can elevate our palms just a little bit with a weight plate or a slant board. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Okay, 1 minute done there. Third exercise, we're going to be doing an anti-rotation. We're going to be setting up a resistance band either on an object that's not going to move, right, that's safe, or if we have a doorway attachment, we're going to loop it through our doorway attachment, and then we're going to be able to do exercises anywhere near a doorway. So I hope that's somewhere in your home close by. We're going to set our timer for 30 seconds. We're going to stand far enough away from whatever set object is holding the resistance band, press our arms away from ourselves, and we're just going to hold this position. The concept is anti-rotation. We are resisting the urge of rotating under load. If you need to make it more challenging, walk further away. If you need to make it easier, you walk closer to your object. Just make sure it's laterally away from you and it's at chest height. We want to think about pushing our shoulder blades apart, protracting them, pushing our arms away from ourselves. Our hips and our hands are in the same direction. Good, let's switch sides. Okay, arms pressed out, squeeze my butt, squeeze my belly. Good posture, good neck posture. Don't look down at the ground. And again, we're just resisting the urge of rotating under load. Works our hips because our feet have to cement ourselves into the ground here. Have good positioning. Have a good wide base of support. And I just try to stay calm, taking deep breaths in and out through my nose. And 30 seconds there. There you have it. Another 3 great exercises. We're going to take a small rest, and we're going to keep this workout going. Last circuit, 3 more exercises. The only equipment we're gonna need here, again, are the set of rings that we used before, as well as another resistance band set up at about belly button height on our door. So first thing we're gonna start with is we're gonna do some sumo isometric deadlift holds. Okay, we're gonna have a very wide stance. We wanna think about keeping our feet turned out to about 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. We're gonna try to get our hips down to about 90 degrees. Depending on how tight you are, this might be more challenging for some folks than others. From here, I have my hands out in front of me. I'm gonna go ahead and use the rings if I need it. If I need more support, I can hold onto it here. I don't wanna be hinged over. I wanna have a very vertical torso angle, and I wanna think of pushing my knees out over my toes. I do not want my knees collapsing in. I want them as wide as possible. Upright torso, deep breaths. Again, we're gonna be stretching out the tissue of our adductors, kind of on the inside of our thigh, and we're trying to activate our glutes by pushing our hips open as much as we can. Deep breaths, tall chest. Sumo deadlifting is a wonderful way for you to pick objects up with a more vertical torso angle, placing less load on your lower back, hypothetically, and using our glutes to do more of the lifting. Deep breaths, 45 seconds total, almost there. And beautiful. Ooh, it burns. Okay, number 2, we're gonna be doing some pulling work here. We wanna get into an L-sit position, and we're gonna be doing an isometric hold. So when I say an L-sit, I mean we're in a position where our legs are out in front of us, and we're holding onto a resistance band, and we're gonna pull this band to our chest, and then hold that position for 45 seconds. I'm gonna reset my watch. Again, I have an overhand grip. I pull this all the way to my chest. I hold right below my nips. I pinch my shoulder blades. I keep a tight belly. I try to stay as upright as I possibly can. Depending on how tight your hamstrings are, you might need to bend your knees to stay nice and upright. Some of you might be rounded forward. Most important part of this, shoulder blades are back and down. Good scapular retraction. I hold this position. If you need to make it harder, you can scoot your butt back further away. 45 seconds. Keeping this below our chest, pinching our shoulder blades. Deep breaths. It's a great way to work on strengthening our back and work on our posture. And good. If you want to do this 1 arm at a time, you can. If you don't have a strong enough resistance band for 2 arms, make it more challenging by doing 1 arm at a time. Okay, last thing we're going to do. We're going to be doing a bird dog hold on each side. We're going to be doing 30 seconds per side. We're going to extend one leg all the way out, one arm all the way out. We're going to squeeze our belly, squeeze our butt, and we're just going to hold this position. Now, the goal here is we're maintaining a neutral spine. I'm not going into a pelvic tilt where I'm arching my back. I'm trying to maintain neutral positioning while taking deep breaths and stabilizing myself. This is one of my favorite exercises for general core strength and your ability to maintain a neutral spine with movement in your legs and your upper body. And good. Okay, let's switch sides. Get ready. Extend limbs all the way out. Again, deep breaths. Trying to get that arm all the way up by my ear. Trying to get that leg locked out, keeping the same angle as my torso. Keeping my toe pointed to the ground. Trying to do a good job stabilizing myself. Again, belly's tight, nice neutral spine. Not arching my back and going into extension. 30 seconds total. Almost there. Really press through your arms. In 3, 2. All right, there you have it. Last 3 exercises of the circuit. Let's finish out our circuits, and I'll see you in a few. Congratulations, well done. You've completed your isometric workout. You have held some positions today, strengthening tissue around joints, making you more resilient. Next time, if you perform this workout, just remember, change a variable to make it more challenging. Longer duration of time. Maybe a harder variation of what you did. Maybe you don't use the rings. Maybe you hold a load to your chest to make this more challenging. Whatever it is, just continue to challenge yourself in ways that you haven't before, and your body will adapt and get better. Again, thank you very much for choosing me as someone to come to for health and wellness advice, and I look forward to seeing you at the next workout. Rest up, recover. I'll see you soon.